Want to see how I refresh my day 2 curly girl hair and do my makeup? Just keep watching. I'm back with my hair plopped again because so many of you ladies asked me to do a follow-up video. What do I do on second day hair? And I have a confession to make. I only wash my hair 1 time per week. Now, for those of you with oily hair, you probably can't even imagine that. But remember that I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I have very dry, prone to frizz hair, and also when I wash my hair, a lot of hair comes out in the shower. Yesterday when I washed my hair and filmed the original Curly Girl Method video, I saved the hair that was in the drain and the bottom of the tub. This is how much hair falls out every time I wash my hair. Now imagine if I were to wash my hair every day. Now on the flip side of that, once I have done the Curly Girl Method, I no longer use a comb or a brush on my hair. So all of us have that hairbrush that has hair in it, right? Everything that accumulates in the shower from washing my hair would have been in a hairbrush, but because I don't use one, it all comes out at once and looks pretty alarming. I know this is disgusting, but this is the reason that I don't wash my hair more than once a week. So today what I did, I got in the shower and I wet my hair. I didn't use any additional product because all of that product that I put in when I did the Curly Girl Method in the first video yesterday for me is still in my hair. So all I have to do is reactivate it, right? So I hop in the shower, I wet my hair, I scrunch it, and I plop it. Exactly like I do on a wash day, but a much more accelerated pace. My hair has been plopped for a while now, and we need to see what's happening with it. Let me take this ridiculous t-shirt off. And my hair is still going to be soaking wet. I'm going to go diffuse this mop. I'm back from diffusing my hair, and before I scrunch the crunch out, I do want to point out that for me personally, it's easier just to wet my hair in the shower on non-wash days because I have crazy thick hair. But if you have thinner hair, just take a spray bottle. You can get one right at the Dollar Tree, put a tiny amount of conditioner in it, whatever one is your choice, and fill it up with cool water, give it a shake, and then spritz your hair with that and scrunch and go. Now, if I were not filming today, honestly, I wouldn't even bother with the diffusing, or who am I kidding, the makeup either. So now I'm going to take the clips out, and if you didn't watch my original video, the reason I have clips strategically placed in my head is because I have some pretty opinionated cowlicks in the front of my hair that just want to do what they want to do, and I know where I need to pick up the lift. So now I'm going to decide where I want my rough part, and I do want to mention that every time I do this method, my hair looks slightly different. It's never going to look the same twice, honestly. And now we're just going to break the gel cast. And again, this product that is in my hair that has created this wave and curl is from yesterday. All I did this morning in the shower was wet my hair and then dry it with that t-shirt that I showed you and plop my hair. So I'm just scrunching all around to break the gel cast, and you can see that my hair is getting fluffier by the moment. I don't want to go too ham doing this because what will happen is I will generate frizz. I just want to scrunch the crunch out, but I have to say my hair does not feel crunchy or crispy right now at all. I'm not loving where the part is, so I'm going to reposition that. I'm just going to fuss with it until I get it where I want it. Now, if I end up with an unusually flat spot, like I see one right here in the front, I might actually go in with a curling iron and fix that. But in general, I do not heat style my hair anymore. Now I'm going to use the same shine spray that I talked about in my other video, and I did look this up online. It is $3.88, and I think it is one of the best kept secrets at Walmart. So I'm just going to hit my hair with this, and it's going to take my hair from looking naturally dull to having some luster. I also love the smell of this. Now, on a day that I don't have to go to work or I'm not filming a video and just hanging around the house, I don't bother with makeup either. But because I'm filming a video and know that I'm going to be putting on makeup, I decided to show you my routine because so many of you asked to see it. Now I have to preface this by saying I am not a beauty guru, I am not a makeup artist, and I am not an expert. Super random side note, but when I first fell down the rabbit hole of watching YouTube videos, I became addicted to watching beauty tutorials for whatever reason. I just found them fascinating. And it was always some 20-year-old showing how to apply this perfect winged eyeliner, and they had the fake eyelashes going on. And of course I never got that result because I'm not 20 years old. And I also don't have perfectly smooth skin. During that time, I bought and subsequently gave away or threw away countless products that never lived up to the hype. These are the products that work for me. And in every instance, I will link these down below. And if it's a more pricey item, I will also link an affordable option. Now, you might be expecting me to start with my foundation, but that is the last step in my makeup routine. Years ago, I got into the habit of doing my eye makeup first. That way, if I have any fallout from eyeshadow, I can quickly correct it and I'm not going to disturb the foundation. By the time I put on my foundation, I am almost done with my makeup. And I find that this really helps in the long run. The first thing that I want to do is apply some concealer on the inner corners of my eyes. Most of us have a natural little bit of darkness there, and for me as I get older, it is especially true. Now the concealer that I'm using is a little bit more on the pricey side. This is by e.l.f. I'm a big fan of that brand because it's also kind of skincare and makeup at the same time. And this is called the Bye Bye Under Eye. This is a very thick, opaque formula. So the first thing that I'm going to do is squeeze a tiny amount on my finger, not even pea size, just a tiny little bit. And then I'm going to warm it up between my fingers so that it becomes very pliable, because I don't want this to get cakey, so I want to kind of thin it out with the warmth of my finger. And then I'm going to look into the makeup mirror that I have here right off to the side, and I'm just going to kind of blob this where I know that I have natural darkness. This brightens up my face so much. I also have a random red spot right above my lip. It is always there. It's not a blemish, but it never goes away. So I'm just going to hit that spot with the same concealer, and I do have a blemish right here on the side of my eye, and you'll see, you will not even notice this once I'm done. And this is just going to color correct this a little bit, and you can see how it virtually disappeared right in front of your eyes. Now the thing about concealer is that it covers color, but it doesn't cover texture. So there will still be a little bump from that breakout, but it's going to be almost invisible. Now I'm going to go in with a damp beauty sponge. It doesn't matter what brand. This one is probably a beauty blender. I couldn't say, I've been using it for a while, but there's a really good one in Walmart. I want to say it's by Real Techniques. It's an orange sponge, and I actually like the shape of that one better than the per se beauty blender. But the trick to them is to wet it and then squeeze out the extra moisture. So I'm going to go in and tap in where I've applied this concealer. Now, I used to use a separate eyeshadow primer or base to make the eyeshadow stick to my eyes. But I've discovered that in the process of tapping in this concealer around my eyes, it's a twofer because it also works as my eyeshadow base. So I no longer buy separate eyeshadow primers at this point. And I really want to do a good job blending this because this is going to try to settle into my fine lines and wrinkles, or who am I kidding? They're more than fine at this point. But I'm going to go ahead and blend this in. I do want to mention that even though this concealer by e.l.f. is a little bit pricey compared to drugstore, a tube like this will last for years. You use just a speck, and I use it every time I do my makeup. Every time you see me on video, this is the step that I use to brighten my eyes. This is called the Instant Age Rewind Eraser, and the one that I'm using they're calling Brightener Illuminator. This does come in colors like light, light medium, dark, and so forth, but the Brightener is the one that works best for me. This has a sponge tip applicator. You just click it up to get more, and all I do is blob some on in my general eye area. As I said, I am not a makeup artist. This is just what works for me. And now I'm going to take that same damp sponge and I'm going to tap it in and smooth it out. Now before this has time to set up and settle into my lines and wrinkles, I am going to go in with a translucent powder. I'm using an obscure one. I will definitely link a comparable one in the description box below. The one that I'm using is colorless. It is by RCMA. This was a big thing with the beauty gurus for a while, and it was sold out online forever, and I had to have it, so now that I have it, I'm going to use it. So I'm just tapping in a fluffy brush, and I'm just setting underneath the eyes. Random side note, but I'm trying not to make that makeup face. You know, the one when you're putting on mascara? I'm trying not to do that. It's really hard. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set what I'm calling my eye primer, which is actually a concealer. Simple so far, right? Now, just because it's the same exact palette that I used when I did my Curly Girl Method video, I'm going to use the more pink tone palette. And again, I will link something very similar to this below. You can see the one that I use as my base color because it's almost gone. It's very close to my skin tone. It's just slightly pinker. I'm going to apply with this flat eyeshadow brush. e.l.f. makes some very comparable ones to the one that I have in my hand. And again, I will try to link some alternatives down below. So I'm just tapping into that lightest color and applying it over my lid. Now you'll notice that I'm not being overly fussy with this. I don't have to be because I don't have foundation on. And Alicia, if you're watching, Alicia is one of my YouTuber friends and she's just now kind of dabbling more into makeup. This trick will save you a lot of aggravation. If you go ahead and do your eyes first, if you make a mistake, you can just wipe it off and start over. And you won't have to do the whole entire look over again because you don't have any foundation on. And it has really helped me. Now I'm going to go into the next color in this palette, and I'm going for this mid-tone. It's kind of a taupey beige. This is so good for the crease. I do want to point out that other than my mobile eyelid, I always use matte eyeshadow everywhere else. As our eyes age and as we get wrinkles, the last thing you want to do is put a shimmery or a sparkly eyeshadow on an area where there are wrinkles because it's only going to exaggerate them. I'm going to apply this color in the crease. The brush that I'm using is by Real Techniques. There are very similar ones again in the drugstore. It doesn't have to be this particular brush. And I'm just loading up this brush, tapping off the excess, full disclosure, all over my floor because I usually do this in the bathroom. I'll wipe it up later. And then I just very gently hold my eye so that I can get this into the corner and into the crease. I'm not pulling it tight, I'm just holding it gently. And the same thing for the other side. And I'm kind of doing just the outer perimeter of the corner. Now, do I have to have this section perfect? Again, no, because I don't have my foundation on, and you'll see exactly what I do in a minute to get that cleaned up. I'm going to take this blending brush. This is by the brand Crown. I got this in one of my BoxyCharm boxes. BoxyCharm is one of those things that I just love to see what they're going to send, and I especially love to get brushes. Which reminds me, I have quite a few sets of brushes at this point still in the packaging, and I'm seriously thinking about doing some type of a beauty giveaway because I have makeup brushes and I have palettes that I have never touched. If you would like to see a giveaway related to beauty products, let me know in the comments down below. So now I'm just going to blend this color in, and again, I usually just gently hold my eye straight so that I'm not working over top of wrinkles, to be quite honest. And I'm just blending this down. I find that as I get older that less is more, and I'm not going to go in with anything too crazy. Now the only place that I will use a shimmer eyeshadow is on my mobile lid, and I'm going to go in with this soft pink shimmer with a flat shader brush. The one that I have, I want to say, is by Real Techniques. I can't recall. Again, I got this in a BoxyCharm box, and I'm just going to pick up some of this color. Now, I don't want to get a bunch of sparkles on my face from this, so I'm taking a setting spray. This one just happens to be by Urban Decay. I like the sprayer on this, but I will tell you that e.l.f. makes one. It's called the Setting Mist, I believe. It is identical to this and a fraction of the price. And I'm just wetting that shimmer eyeshadow because honestly, I just don't want shimmer all over my face. That's why I do that. So now I'm again holding my eyelid gently, and I'm just applying this to the inner corner and to my mobile lid. and I will go back in with a blending brush and make sure that I don't have any sparkle in my crease, because that will settle into fine lines like nobody's business. So I'm going back in with the same brush that I used to do my crease, and I'm just going over it with that color to make sure that that shimmer stays in the only place that I want it. Now, to make this eye look pop and to bring a little bit of lift to the corner of my eye, which Lord knows I need, I'm going to use the darkest shade that I will use out of this palette, and this is kind of a deep maroon or an aubergine. I could also use this darker taupish gray if I like, but I'm really partial to this color. I'm going to use this small brush. This is by Real Techniques, and I want to say that I bought this at either Walmart or Ulta, I can't recall. And I'm just going in with this darker color and just on the outer corner, and I'm doing nothing fancy here. I'm just wiggling this brush around and getting it pretty much where I want it to be. And if there's one brush that you can't be without, I would have to say that it is a fluffy blender brush. You'll see me pick this up multiple times because it really does blend down the look where it looks more natural, and it also makes the colors blend beautifully. So I'm just going to blend all over this area that I just did. And then I'm going to show you my very low-tech way to clean this all up. I'm just going to take a corner of a tissue and fold it to make a straight line. So I'm just gently bringing this in at an angle and applying a little bit of pressure at the corner, and anything that went outside that's going to end up down here is going to be cleaned up, and you can see it coming up on this tissue. So I'm going to do the other side. Now, I would like to say that there's an affordable alternative to this foundation. I have to be honest, I have yet to find one. There are so many videos that claim that there's a dupe for this that's from the drugstore, and I have tried them, and they are not the same. So this one is by e.l.f. Cosmetics. This is the CC cream. One of the things that I love about it is it has an SPF of 50, so I don't have to do my SPF in a second step. Another thing that I love about it is it has skincare built in. It is like having a treatment on your face when you have this on. And thirdly, it is about a medium coverage. It never gets cakey, it always looks natural, and it makes my skin luminous. The color that I'm using is light medium. With that said, if you have a foundation that matches your skin perfectly and you're happy with, of course you would use that for this step. I'm taking a flathead brush. This one also happens to be by e.l.f. Cosmetics, and this actually came with the foundation because I bought this on QVC. QVC often sells the foundation and the brush together. Now this tube is almost empty. I already have a backup because I never want to be without this, but I use very, very little. And the thing about foundation in general is you can always add more, but if you use too much, it just ends up being a mess. So first I'm going to dot this on the major areas of my face, and especially where I tend to be red. So right in this area, I tend to have more redness than the rest of my face. I'm going to go ahead and blend this in with the makeup brush. And this is where I always get makeup on my plop t-shirt, if you will. And I'm just going right up that line that we created on the eye. I'm going to bring this down a little bit under my chin because I do not want a line of demarcation. Now I used an eye brightener here, so you'll notice that I'm kind of avoiding that area because I already have a concealer set in that area. Another thing that I like about this particular foundation is, on me anyway, it doesn't oxidize. Now that I have the base layer on, I'm going back with this damp sponge and I'm just tapping this in. And again, I'm going to bring this down onto my neck so that it gradually fades out. Now, before I set this, I'm going to use one more cream product, and this step is completely optional. I'm using a bronzer stick. This is by e.l.f. I paid $1 for this bronzer stick. If you can't find this exact one, I'm sure that there are others, and I'm just putting a line here, 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 and here. And then I'm taking another flat top kabuki style brush. I dedicate this one just to the bronzer. I don't use it for anything else. And I'm just buffing this out. And we have to make the fish face when we do this. Now you'll notice that I put that line pretty far back. If you bring your contour or your bronzer or your blush too far forward when you're aging, it just draws the face down, or at least that's my opinion. Now, although the bronzer that I'm using is an expensive one, this one is by Marc Jacobs, I have to tell you, I use the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer more often than this one. This just happened to be the one that I grabbed real quick to get ready for this video. So I'm just tapping into the bronzer, tapping off the excess. I'm going to look in my little mirror here, and I'm going over the exact same spots that I just put that cream bronzer. So it's setting that into place, and I find that this helps my bronzer to last throughout the day. Next, I'm going to go in with just a little bit of this pink blush. I'm not even sure if they still make this anymore. This is by The Balm. It is called Insta Stain, and the color is Argyle. And speaking of inexpensive brushes, this is my favorite angled blush brush by Wet n Wild. I paid $2 for this, so I'm just tapping into the blush. Now, a lot of people say to put blush on the apples of your cheeks. If I did that, I would look like Betty Davis in that movie, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Did you see that movie? If you did, let me know in the comments down below. It's a classic, but I digress. I am putting it pretty far back, and I also intend to blend it down. I don't want people to look at my face and say, oh, her blush looks nice. I want it to look more natural. Now I'm going to take a second, bigger, fluffier blush brush. I know I'm being a little bit extra here. This one happens to be by IT Cosmetics. I got it in one of their Today's Special Value kits, so I am going to use it. And I'm going to blend this blush down further. Now, I don't know about you, but my face, for the lack of a better word, seems to eat blush. Right now, when I look in the mirror off to the side, I feel like it's way too much. But I know when I look in the mirror in about an hour, it's going to be very subtle. So this is about the amount of blush that I like to use, knowing that it's going to settle. We're coming into the home stretch with this makeup look, and I do want to point out that when I do this straight through without stopping to explain things, I literally do my makeup in about 5 minutes. I just have it down to a science. The next thing that I'm going to do is just comb my eyebrows into place. I had my eyebrows threaded and tinted fairly recently, so I don't have to do much with filling them in. So I'm just going to brush them kind of up and out, and I'm just using a spoolie. Wet n Wild makes a great one of these, and it's $1. Now, because I have small eyes, they can really disappear into my face. So I do have to tight line underneath my upper lid. I cannot watch somebody do this. It just absolutely skeeves me out. If you don't want to see this, look away now. I am using a rather obscure eyeliner. Rimmel makes a really good, very inexpensive black eyeliner. So all I'm going to do is lift the eyelid up. I don't have to pull it all the way up to my forehead. I'm just lifting it up enough to expose that waterline. And then I'm going to go in with this black eyeliner. And this makes a world of difference to looking like I have eyelids and eyelashes. If I don't do it, my face looks very flat. So I'm going to go in. I can't talk when I'm doing this. I better shut up and just do this. And it may not look like much to you now, but with the finished look, you'll see it. So I'm going to do the other eye. And you'll notice I'm not coming all the way down here. I'm just kind of doing from about the center of the pupil outward. I have just found over time that that's the best shape that works for me. And you ladies that can do amazing eyeliner on the top of your lid, props to you. I never get it straight. I never get it even. I don't even attempt it. Now, full disclosure, sometimes I get a little bit of transfer, and you can see where the eyeliner is here. Now, if it happens, this will sound strange, if it happens evenly on both sides, I just leave it there. But I can see to look at it that this is just a little bit heavier. So I'm just going to bump that down a little bit. and it kind of looks like I did it on purpose. Now this will sound counterintuitive, but I'm going to do my lips next, and here's why. If I finish my eyes and put on mascara, when I go to spray a setting mist on my face, it's going to mess up my mascara, so I'm going to do the lips first. The lip liner that I'm going to use is from Sephora. The color is Rosewood. If I can find it online, I will link it in the description box below. This is one of those self-sharpening ones that always has a point, or sort of a point. It's not real pointy. And I'm just going to line the center of my lips because I'm going to be going in with my all-time favorite liquid lipstick, and I kind of need a roadmap. So with that said, I'm just going to line my Cupid's bow and the bottom of my lip. And this does not have to be perfect because I'm going in with a liquid lipstick, and that's going to further fill out my lips. Now, I would like to say that I have an affordable alternative to this particular lipstick. I do not. This is the only one I use. I picked this one up at Sephora. I will find it online and link it in the description box below. This is in the color Muse. I get a lot of questions about what lipstick I wear, and the only time I wear lipstick is if it's liquid lipstick, because I'm just not one of those people that wants to reapply lipstick all day. Once I put this on, it stays on all day, even when I eat and drink, because when I'm filming, I will often have to stop and have lunch, and I jump right back in front of the camera and the lipstick's still the same. This one is by Huda Beauty, and it is a liquid matte lipstick. Now, I do want to caution, if you're using a liquid lipstick for the first time, you have to use a little bit more care and precision than you would a traditional bullet lipstick. Because if you go way outside of the lines, it's just going to make a mess. So the first thing that I do is wipe off or scrape off, because I don't want to lose a drop of this product because it is crazy expensive. I'm going to scrape off almost all of the product, because if I don't, I will get a big glob of this. I won't be able to control it and get the shape I want, and it'll just make a big mess, and I've done that more than one time. You can see that this has a sponge tip doe foot applicator, and I have to stop talking to do this. I'm going to try to get this properly on my lips the first go round. Let's see how it goes. Important to note, if you see that you have a little blip outside of the line, wipe that off right away before it dries, because when this stuff sets, it sets. Now, while the lipstick is still wet, I'm going to rub my lips together just to blend it down. And I see that I have a little bit of a sharp corner here, so I just wanted to correct that. This next step is kind of gross, but I learned this trick years ago, and it 100% works. Once you put lipstick on, whether it's liquid lipstick or a bullet lipstick, if you put your finger in your mouth and just wrap your mouth around your finger for just a second, everything that ends up on your finger would have progressively ended up on your teeth. I never put lipstick on without doing this step. And you can see a little bit of lipstick right here. All of this lipstick would have made its way onto my teeth. Now, because I did that simple little step, I will go all day and never look in the mirror and be horrified to find that I've been walking around with lipstick on my teeth. Now that I'm happy with my makeup, I'm going to go ahead and use a setting spray. The one that I'm going in is by Urban Decay. It is the cooling and hydrating one. I have to tell you that if I didn't already own this, I would go right to Walmart and pick up the one by e.l.f. It's called the Makeup Setting Spray Mist or something. It has the same nozzle, it does the same thing, and something about setting spray on older skin is magical, because any powder products that we used, like the bronzer and the blush and the eyeshadow, this kind of bumps down that powdery, crepey look. So I'm going to hold this about 10 inches away from my face, close my eyes, and I have to say that feels fabulous, especially if I'm having a hot flash. Now, if in the process of using the setting spray, maybe you were too close to your face with the bottle or you used too much, just take that same damp blending sponge and just tap it in before it makes your makeup run. And I want to show you something just while I'm thinking of it. Do you see the eyeliner here and here? All that is the transfer from my tight lining. I didn't have to go in and make that happen. It just kind of did it on its own. Now, speaking of things that you might not want to see, I do have to curl my eyelashes. I have very short, straight eyelashes that grow straight out, and I need them to be more pointed up. I'm going in with this eyelash curler. I picked this one up at Sephora. You can buy these at Walmart just as easily. And I'm just getting my eyelashes in there, and I'm going to hold till the count of about 10 seconds. I'm sure that I'll edit a couple of seconds out. And this will make all the difference when the mascara is applied. It doesn't look like much now, but I need it because I have almost invisible eyelashes, and they're short and they're straight. Now I'm going to go in with mascara. I already have a couple of tubes open, and I don't want to open another one just for the sake of this video. The one that I'm using right now is called Unlashed. It's by Wander Beauty. I got it in a BoxyCharm. I know I keep mentioning that. A good alternative to this would be the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. I like that one a lot. I have it, but I just don't want to open another tube because I'm almost done with this. And I'm going to try not to make the ugly mascara face. Let's see how I do. I am really trying not to make that face. You know the face I'm talking about. So I'm doing a coat on my upper lashes, taking my time. I like this one because it doesn't clump. And not for nothing, but I'm not trying to look like Tammy Faye Baker. Now I'm going to do the bottom lashes. Next, I'm going to go in with a thickening mascara. This one is by Bite Beauty. I did get this at Sephora. And again, there's one at Walmart. I want to say it's called L'Oreal Voluminous. It comes in a black tube. It is very similar to this. And because this one is a heavy-duty mascara, I am going to scrape off most of the product. Because if I don't, I will end up with tarantula Tammy Faye Baker eyelashes, and I am not trying to look like Tammy Faye Baker. So it looks like there's almost nothing left on the brush, but that's exactly how I want it. And this is going to add a little bit of thickness and volume to my mascara. Now, if you're thinking to yourself that 2 different mascaras seems a little bit extra, look at the difference between the eye where I added the thickening one and the one that I didn't. Now, if you want a more natural look, this eye looks acceptable. When I go to work, I would wear it like this. Since I'm doing a fancy pants makeup video, though, I am going to go in with the second coat. Now, as I've gotten older, I've come to realize that I really can't wear matte liquid lipsticks on their own anymore. I really need to do the extra step of adding a gloss, because if I don't, every line and wrinkle in my lips or around my lips has attention drawn to it, and it also just makes my lips look really dry. I'm going in with a lip gloss. This looks a little strange because it's blue. This one is by e.l.f. Cosmetics. I can't remember the name of it. If I can find it, I will link it down below. But here is why I use a blue lip gloss. This blue lip gloss that TV anchors and celebrities use makes your teeth look whiter. I know it sounds weird, but I get a lot of comments that my teeth are looking whiter. Now, part of that is because I am going through the clear aligner phase. I'm using the product called Bite, and it's like clear braces for adults. And in fact, if you want a video on my experience with the clear aligners as an adult, I'll be happy to film it. Let me know in the comments down below. But even before I was doing that process and using the whitener that came with the clear aligners, I have been using this for years. TV anchors use this because it makes their teeth look white. And even though it seems strange to use a blue lip gloss, I love this stuff and I think it's worth the money. And then just like with the lipstick, I want to make sure that this doesn't transfer to my teeth, so I'm going to use my finger again. And see where it came off right here? That would be on my teeth in about an hour. That's why I do that trick. Now the blue tinge of this will fade down a little bit, but it really sincerely makes your teeth look whiter. With that said, use any lip gloss that you have. At the risk of sounding like one of the people on the show Hoarders, if any of you are addicted to watching that like I am, let me know in the comments down below. I morbidly find that show fascinating, and every time I watch an episode of Hoarders, I go on a cleaning tear. I have my entire home office torn up right now as we speak because I watched an episode of that. I also didn't mean to shoot you the finger, whoops. Because the lens of my camera is here, the viewfinder of my camera is here, and the makeup mirror is here. So let's see how this goes. The lines in my lips come forward, and it makes lips. I need to learn my body parts. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, be sure and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Pop over to Instagram and follow me over there. I would love to have you as a part of that community. I'm going to pop up a couple of my previous videos here, and I will see you next time.